Welcome, everybody. Mike Martinez, and today I got another edition of Masters Mindset Training with one of the big guys in the company, and I call him a giant in the company, not only because he's a huge guy. I believe he's 6'5", but he's always in the leaderboard. He's one of the guys that you see consistently throughout his career in Metro at the top of the leaderboard because he just produces. He's an animal. I think he's an animal in the company, and I mean that in a good sense. This gentleman's been with the company for 12 years. He's part of the biggest organization, and he himself has one of the biggest organizations that's within the company. It's just continuously expanding, continuously growing. His name is Jay Gillette. Mr. Jay, thank you very, very much for taking time. I know you're a busy guy. I appreciate you spending time with me, man.
Cool. I'm glad to be here.
This is, I interviewed your sponsor, Mr. Dr. Mike, recently, and he gave you some accolades, and he said, you got to have people like Jay Gillette in there. And Dr. Mike, as we both know, has one of the biggest organizations, but you have within Dr. Mike's organization one of the biggest growing organizations. So just to give us a little background, who and where was Jay Gillette before Metro, and how did you actually get connected with Dr. Mike and Metro?
Well, actually, I didn't get connected with Dr. Mike. I actually got connected with a guy who was in another business with me and talked to me about this. Now, the reason I have such a passion for this, in 1986, the insurance company paid me $700 on a claim I now know was worth $65,000. So it wasn't hard to get me to want to come over here. Now, when I came over and I got started, I actually didn't get started. What I did for the first 6-7 months, I went to every training. I even went to AMT, Advanced Metro Training, as a trainee. Now, I'd already taken the test. I already got my license. That part I did, but I never did my training claims. I wanted to make sure that this company was the company I wanted to set my name on. So I didn't do really anything from June to December, except go to a lot of training. And then I made the decision I was going to do it. And I went out and I did my training claims myself. And the reason I did them myself is, number one, I had a sponsor. I had 2 regional managers and, well, 3 regional managers, and then Ken Hatfield above me at the time. And I'd already been through a lot of training, so I already knew what to do. My sponsor quit. The 2 regional managers quit, and I was sitting there and I decided I was ready to do it. And I went out and I wrote my training claims in December. January and February, I went out and wrote 74 claims and went regional manager. That year,
You went and wrote 74 claims?
In 2 months, yeah.
Wow, unbelievable.
That's how I went regional manager. And then what I did was I picked the number 1 person on the leaderboard, who was Lori Fantini at the time. And she didn't know I existed, but it didn't take long for her to figure it out. Because I was shooting to beat her on the leaderboard. And we were going back and forth that whole year. I ended up writing 264 claims.
Wow, unbelievable.
And she beat me.
Wow.
Yeah, well, Dr. Mike was my EVP. I mean, my senior vice president, and Stan was hers. And Stan would tell me, hey, Lori's got 3 more claims. And Dr. Mike would tell Lori, Jay's got 3 more claims. And we were just battling. And it was unreal that year. And she beat me. But you know what? If I didn't go after that with a passion, I wouldn't have wrote 264 claims my first year. And I wouldn't be an executive vice president in less than 2 years in the company. I wouldn't have got the green jacket in less than 2 years, which is the highest award the company gives.
Right.
Now, I am a workaholic Marine. I never stop. But, you know, you got to have something to shoot for.
Right, right. Absolutely. Let me bring you back for a second, because you said something interesting to me that I'd like to kind of get more clarification. You said that in the beginning, you didn't do anything but attend trainings, and you were trying to see if Metro was the one company you were going to put your name on. What was it about Metro that caused that switch to go off in your head and say, yeah, this is the company I want to spend my time with. This is the company that I want to make my name with. What was it? Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, I'm going to change up because it's going to take you backwards. When I got started, the company had just gone through a major in 2009 and the beginning of 2010. There was a major storm. And everywhere you looked, we were getting complaints. And the reason was we didn't have enough adjusters, but they let the reps write as many claims as they wanted. So nobody was ever getting out there. And it was just dragging out. And our name was being beat up a lot because everybody was complaining. And I wasn't sure if I was going to stamp my name on it with all the complaints at the time. And after talking to the owner and everything, he went out and he hired a ton of adjusters. So we will never fall into that pitfall again. And after sitting with the owner, I made the decision. I'd already been to advanced Metro training. I'd already been to everything. I made the decision that this is the company that's going to be long-term and where I want to be. And we haven't had that situation where we didn't have enough adjusters. Occasionally, we do run into situations. Currently, I'm licensed in 18 states, and I do business across the country from my living room.
Yeah.
And that is really nice. Now, it wasn't always like that. I actually used to drive 90,000 miles a year, driving to Ohio twice a month, Maryland once a month, and all over New Jersey. And you had to go there, and on paper, you had to write everything up. And then the pandemic happened. And the funny part is, at every executive vice president meeting for probably 2 years, they would bring up all this technology stuff, and I would be the biggest advocate against it.
Right, I remember.
Fight, and we don't want that. And then the pandemic hit, and there was no option. So I will tell you, it took me about a month to acclimate myself to it. But then I took to it like a duck takes to water. And it's the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah. So if I'm getting you right, it was Steve McCaffrey, the president of the company's commitment. You saw his commitment and his willingness to make this a successful company. That's what kept you in. Now, here's a question I want to get because you've been around for 12 years and you're talking about these ups and downs that the company is having. Now, a lot of people quit in those down moments, right? For 12 years, you said, hey, let me go and ride the wave. And what kept you there? or what kept you steady within those ups and downs that the company no doubt has, right? We've had the pandemic. You had the situation that you're talking about where there were a lot of complaints coming in. What was it that kept you, thriving with the company?
Well, when my whole upline left, they tried to talk me into going, but I wasn't. That's when I sat down with Steve, and and I got to know the man. And you can't work for a better guy.
Mm.
He is really has integrity, and he has love for the business. I mean, the reason he started the company was his mother got ripped off on a small claim. So he is by far the best CEO I've ever worked for. And I've done a lot of things in my life. I mean, well, I worked in a glass factory for 21 years.
Wow.
I got full-blown throat cancer from the glass factory. They gave me 3 months to live.
Oh, wow.
There was no hope. I'm actually in medical books. I was the first guinea pig to survive a 12-hour operation on table at the University of Pennsylvania.
Wow.
That was the third operation after they told me there was no hope and go die. And I just had such a positive attitude. I told him I ain't dying, what's next? When the doctor finally sent me to the University of Pennsylvania to do this program, he told me, you're not going to live, but maybe you'll help somebody in the future.
Wow.
And I went through 12-hour operation on table. They took every lymph node out of the neck. The head of the University of Pennsylvania did that. And then I went through 4 months of radiation. Went from 275 pounds solid muscle to 171 in 3 months.
Wow.
So I've been through a little bit. But who can keep a Marine down, Anyway, so then, I always find a way. And you asked what I did when it went up and down. I never let me go up and down. I just kept focused and kept a look. Now, I will tell you, everybody doesn't want to do what we do. Everybody doesn't want their own entity, their own business. Now, the nice part about it is I try to explain to people 80% of people at every job do nothing. 20% do all the work.
Right.
The 80% that do nothing complain about the 20% that are doing all the work. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
So here, 80% of the people that are going to complain about the 20% that are doing all the work are going to end up leaving. And the 20% that do all the work are going to make a ton of money and have a lot of fun and help a lot of people. See, because we're all about helping people. See, I'm not an adjuster. I will never be an adjuster. They do too much work. I talk to people. I educate them on their policy. I evaluate it. I identify the damage. And I educate them on what's covered. Something that no other company does. Every other company's out there to try and make money. That's it. All the other companies out there are trying to, chase fires and catastrophic losses. We actually sit with people without an intent to write a claim. Now, we write a claim about 80% of the time, at least I do. But without an intent to write a claim, we are there to help. We are there to educate them on their policy. Because the more you pay for your policy, the worse your coverage. The less you pay, the better your coverage.
That's interesting, yeah.
On top of that, the insurance company can change your deal every year. Right now, they're changing deductibles from $500 or $1,000, which it always was. Now they're changing them to a 1 to 5% deductible
Right.
without telling anybody. A
Mm.
1% deductible on a $500,000 house, $5,000 deductible.
Right.
5% deductible on a $500,000 house, $25,000 deductible. I had a client about 3 weeks ago now. They had $15,000 worth of roof damage. $470,000 house. I looked at their policy. I couldn't write the claim. Why? Because they had a 5% wind and hail deductible. They had a $24,000 deductible. They had no clue. If they would have called their insurance company and said, hey, I have shingles off my roof, they would have said, great. Well, that counts as a claim against you, and we're paying you nothing. Well, what I did is I actually found some water damage under their kitchen sink, and we're going to get them paid for new cabinets and stuff. They're going to take that money and they're going to fix their roof. The reality is what people don't know. Everybody needs to know. And what we do is we educate everybody. Right now, there's a thing called the forced policy by the mortgage company. It's nuts. I find 5 of them a month. And the people have no clue they have them. You know, when your mortgage company sells your mortgage to another company, they don't have to send your policy with it. And sometimes they don't. 90% of the time they do. That's why most people don't realize. But if they don't send your policy, they're setting you up to fail.
Yeah.
And what they do when you come up for renewal, if you didn't call your mortgage company and say, hey, this is my insurance company, they will put a forced policy on you. What a forced policy is, you have no liability, you have no coverage whatsoever. The only thing that's covered is the amount of the mortgage for the mortgage company. And the mortgage company is the named insured.
Right.
That's why they can only insure you for the amount that you owe them, because they have to have the insurable interest.
Yeah.
And if you had a fire, you'll be sitting on the road looking in, because the insurance company is going to take the money and you ain't getting nothing.
I know. It's terrible.
We can't even write a claim on a forced policy. It would be doing the wrong thing to a person. Because first of all, the mortgage company takes all the money. And then we would go after our fee because they signed our paperwork. That just would be wrong. And beat up twice.
Yeah.
So if there's a forced policy, we can't even write it. But the minute you find it, you want to educate somebody to get a new policy. Because the day they get a new policy, the day that goes away. And I've seen forced policies that cost $4,000 to $5,000 a year, and they have no coverage. You want to make somebody happy? You find somebody with a forced policy, educate them on getting a good policy, and instead of paying $4,000 to $5,000 a year for no coverage, now they're paying $1,000 to $1,200.
Right, $1,500, right.
For everything.
Yeah.
And they're totally covered. It's a different world.
Yeah. You're talking now about one of the many landmines that we face in educating our customers, and that's a great thing. I've been to one of your trainings, as you know, and you covered that very, very well, and that's a great thing. Let me ask you this, because in a personal conversation that you and I recently had, you were giving me your history as far as, you know, in the network marketing industry. You were part of Amway, you were part of Prepaid Legal, and they were very focused on personal growth and reading and things like that. Has there been any book that you can attribute, and I'm sure you're a reader, so there's probably several books, but is there any books that you can contribute or
Yes,
attribute to your success and that you recommend people to read?
yes. The Greatest Salesman in the World by Ogmandino.
Hmm.
That book has scrolls in it. Those scrolls, there's 10 scrolls. And if you do those scrolls the way they say,
Mm-hmm.
and you do them a month, 30 days, read 3 times a day, twice to yourself, silently, and then once before you go to bed out loud, and you envelop what is in that book.
Internalize.
Yes, I've done that 10 times over
Mm.
my lifetime, and it's made me who I am today. And
Very interesting.
I speak motivational. I mean, I don't. I love all of the authors. Ogmandino is one of my favorite. Tony Robbins is great. I
Mm-hmm.
remember Tony Robbins when he came to a Amway event, and I actually got to meet him back then because he was right at the beginning of his career. And it was really crazy. All of the different people that you saw at all of the Amway events back in the 70s and 80s. And I did that for years. And the funny part is, what made me know that it worked? And in my first month, I got a $5.40 check.
Hmm.
And I spent probably $300 in product to get a $5.40 check. So the industry has changed. I mean, back then, I remember in Amway, I had to actually, everything was in case lot. And my daughter wanted 1 pack of baby wipes. And,
Hmm.
and I had to buy a case lot of like 64 packs.
Wow.
And not too long ago, I found that case of everything in it except for one, because that was the only one that was ever home. I took that in my shed and I threw them away.
Very, very
And
interesting.
that's the nice part I love about this. There's no product to buy or sell.
Yeah.
There's no auto ship.
So let me just move this on because I got a question for you. Since you are such a mega recruiter and have such a great organization, you have a tremendous organization. You got guys like Michael Sergio, Tammy Young. You got some really good people, right? And what would you say? Is there any number of qualities, one or two qualities that you instill, or actions that you instill, or skills that you tell people you need to develop this in order to be a six-figure income earner?
Well, you want to know the truth?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
You're never going to teach anybody what they don't have inside them.
Okay.
We are people sorters. That's all we are. You are looking for the people who have a fire in their belly,
Mm-hmm.
are trainable, and who are willing to learn. And when you find that person, you work with them. And I guess I'm really good at figuring out who's going to do something and who's not. Out of 100 people, and I'm being flat out honest here, out of 100 people, I get 30 people on average to write a claim, to do a training claim. Out of 100 people, maybe 5 or 6 will get their license. And out of that 5 or 6, maybe 1 out of every 200 will become a superstar.
Mm.
But superstars, you're working with them, but they have to have the raw material.
Right.
They have to have the desire. Talking about Tammy. Tammy got involved, went crazy. Now she's beating me on the leaderboard. That ain't gonna last, but the bottom line is, would I be upset if she beats me on the leaderboard when I get paid on everything she does? Probably not.
Right.
And I always have 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 people on the leaderboard every month on my team. And the nice part is I get paid on what everybody does. Yes, I do this because I love what I do. But I am a recognition junkie. So that's what turns me on. Getting recognized at the conventions for number one, getting recognized for all the things that I do. And to me, that's what floats my boat. And it has to, because I make an unbelievable income right now. And it would really be hard to get up and go to work if I didn't have a goal or something to shoot for, because it can't be money at this point.
Right. Right.
It's just to the point where
So what's your motivation? To get recognized, or to develop the people that are in your team, or to what's your motivation to continue to be at the top there?
Well, my personal motivation is to be number one in the company myself. Now, my secondary motivation is to get my team to beat me.
Interesting.
I want the leaderboard filled with nothing but my team. And years ago, I did have 10 slots on the leaderboard when they were doing 15, which really made me happy. But that was only 1 month. And, that's how it all works. Now I'm all over the country. I don't leave the house. I do business in 18 states from my living room. And the reality of it all is there's nothing easier on the planet that I've ever found.
Yeah.
I mean, when we used to have to drive to houses, we still only drove there, sat with the client. We didn't go on the roof. We didn't go in the base. I didn't go in any basements. I didn't go in any roofs. If I couldn't stand up in a basement, I didn't go there. And I'm 6'5", so, I didn't go in a lot of basements. But I would always find the damage. And now I found a way to do that online.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
And I can walk somebody through in a presentation right through their house and ask, do you have this? Do you have that? Is this here? Do you have that? What is this? What is that? Boom, boom, boom. And come up with a claim. And my goal is to write a claim everywhere I go. Now, I know people say, oh, well, my rates are going up. No, the only way your rates are going up is if you have a claims-free discount.
Right, right.
And a claims-free discount is the biggest scam there is.
That's what I said. That's the subliminal, right.
If you're going up, say it's going to go up $100 a year for 3 years, and we get you $20,000. Is there anybody out there that would not pay $300 to get $20,000 up front to pay $300 over the next 3 years? If that's you, well, then you need to be in a mental institution.
Okay, Mr. J. So what you're saying is you don't particularly look at training people in a specific way. You look to see, so to speak, let the cream rise to the top. You're looking for the people that are allowing their greatness to shine, right? Is there anything you do to trigger that?
Yes. First thing we always do is we set up everything they need to do.
Mm.
The people that are going to rise to the top are going to show up on my training. I do training every week for 2.5 hours. They will show up on that training.
I've been to your trainings. Very, very good stuff, man. Very good.
They will also set up some appointments. Now, policy reviews are everything. It isn't about writing claims. 80% of the time we'll write a claim because the client's going to want us to. What's not to want? There's no negatives. And we're going to get you tax-free money you didn't know you could get. You don't have to do any of the work. Our adjusters do it all. You don't even talk to your insurance company. And we get you a tax-free check that you can do pretty much whatever you want with. So the reality comes down, they're going to set up some appointments. And we're going to do that. On top of that, they're going to actually study for their test and take their test. One of my goals for everybody is to take your test in the first 10 days.
Mm.
Everybody should be licensed in 10 to 15 days. And they should have their training claims done.
Let me interrupt you there because and I don't know, or I'd like to hear your input on this, because some people say, wow, that's a lot of pressure. I mean, to get me to do something in 10 days, I got to study, I got to do this, are you using that pressure to test them, to test their mentality, or is it something that you just want to get done? You want to get them out of the way?
No. Most people are procrastinators.
Mm.
And they are gonna, I'm studying. I'll set the test up. I'm studying. Well, nobody is studying until they have a date that they're going to take the test. So, and they're not going to study till the night before. So they have this fear of setting up the test because they think they're not ready. They have to set up the test immediately. I don't want to play. First thing you got to do is set up the test. If you fail, I don't care. You set it up again. The problem is most people are so afraid to take the test, they never take it. And that fear you got to get rid of. So if they take the test and fail it, so what? I've had people that are superstars on my team that failed the test 3 times. And on their 4th time, they pass. It doesn't matter how many times you take the test. Yes, you're paying $40 or $45 every time you take it. So study and get it done.
Right.
The crazy part is you need to take the test immediately. Number one, it gets that fear out of you because now you know what you're getting in, what you're going to be taking the test on. So now you know what you're studying, you know what you're looking for, and your fear factor is gone. Because now you've already taken it. You failed it once, no big deal. And it didn't kill me. Now let's take it again. I tell everybody, set it up you got to wait 24 hours to set it up again. Set it up again. Most states, it's going to take you about 5 or 6 days before you can get in to take it. And you'll pass it usually the 2nd time or the 1st. I have a hard time with people because I don't ever study. I get perfect papers every time. I'm that guy that nobody liked in college. Didn't study and got the A's. And I wasn't the fun guy. Anyway, I just had fun. I never worried about anything, and it all came natural to me. But we have so much training in place, all the test training, all the different stuff. You know, if everybody just would take the test, you know what? You only need to pass it once.
Right, right.
I had a guy take it 12 times.
Wow. My
Couldn't
God.
read very well. And after he passed it, he became a regional manager on my team. He since has left the business, but you know what? He passed that test, and he would not quit until he passed it. And then he went out and became a regional manager. And then life got in the way, and he moved away.
As it always does. Just to bring you back here for a second, because the question was, do you teach, or do you teach any specific actions or skills to the people that you're recruiting? You said no, but you do give them assignments. You do say, I need you to be in this training. I need you to get these training calls. I need you to get your license. And you use that as an evaluation to see who is the 20 percenters or who rises to the top. Is that correct?
Right. You know, if you hire 30 or 40 people in a month and you think you're going to work with every one of them hand in hand, it just ain't happening. You don't have enough time in a day. Just like people call me all the time and want me to do an interview on the phone with them. I don't do that. I tell people point blank, I'm an executive vice president with the company. I'm hiring in 18 states. If I talk to everybody one-on-one and try to explain everything one-on-one, I wouldn't have enough time to do anything.
Right, right.
So I have to do them in group meetings. And at that group meeting, you're going to find people right off the bat that you're going to see are shining. Now, that doesn't mean those people are going to be the ones that blow it out of the water. Those people are, I treat everybody equally. That's an A at the end of the presentation. Totally equally, send them the same stuff. The people that rise to the top are the ones that I work with. If they set up an appointment, boom, I'm there. I send them my Calendly link. Anytime I have an appointment, I am sitting there waiting. And I am there. I am going to do my thing. If they set the appointment, I'm writing a claim. If they have one. Or what if they have a forced policy? You know, I spend more time with somebody with a forced policy than I do writing a claim. Because they need to be educated more than anybody. Because they're being ripped off.
Right, right.
And they need to know. They really have to understand that they have nothing. And well, and this is their comment, my mortgage company's paying for this. No, they're charging you for this.
Right, right.
And they're paying it, but with your money. And the difference is you're paying $4,000 to $5,000 a year when you could pay $1,100 or $1,200 a year. The one you have nothing.
Right, right.
And you'll have everything. And yes, they're going to pay it, but you really need to get it. And you can't wait, because every day you wait, you're spending more money, because they can only charge you as long as you have no insurance. And they make sure you have no insurance. So there's lots of things that are really important.
Yeah, yeah. I think personally that's a class that you should give, because I haven't heard anybody, any trainer in Metro, explain the forced policy better than you have. And it's an important thing, because like you said, so many people are really experiencing that, and they don't know, they don't have a clue what it is. And it's really a rabbit hole that you could spend a week talking about. It's a lot of key stuff that can hurt people. Let me just continue on with this idea of the cream rising to the top. So you put those assignments out there, and you see, okay, I just sponsored 30 people, and 8 of them are doing everything that I'm asking for. They're the cream that rises to the top. Is there anything that you're doing with those new those 8 people, the 20 percenters that you identify in your mind as a 20 percenters? Is there anything different that you're doing as opposed to the other people? Are you continuing to give them more assignments? Are you working more on a one-on-one basis with them? What's going on there?
Okay, those people are showing up to my training. Those people are setting up appointments. And those people are claims reps. Somebody who I trained to be a claims rep, by the time they are a claims rep, they are ready to write business. Most of my people, they'll have 3, 4, 5 training claims, and they'll get them done prior. They're waiting on their license. I have a girl right now, we did 6 training claims. She was already licensed in Maryland, and we kept doing claims. The 3rd training claim she has will be her 3rd training claim. Those other 3 we're splitting because we did them together. But the reality comes down, what if one of them went down? She's got some backups.
Right.
So, and there's no way to lose. She's going to get money on them anyway.
Right.
And the important thing is she's now a claims rep. She got promoted at the fast track, whatever it was, down in Maryland, Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia fast track. So she's a claims rep now, and she's really going to be good. She's a home inspector. And every house she goes into, she has her own business. So every house she goes into, she's doing a lead type inspection or something. And every house she goes into, she's looking for damage.
Right.
She's taking pictures. She knows what she's looking for. And the minute she finds it, she says, hey, I can get you paid for this. Hey, I can get you paid for this. Now, they already respect her for what she does. Now she's just adding this to her repertoire. And she's really doing an unbelievable job. So that's what you're finding. You're going to find people. The people that are going to disappear are the people that you would give business cards to, and they would have 1,000 business cards, and they put them in their dresser drawer and never give them to anybody. I hate to say it. If a crook broke in and stole them, he probably won't call you because he stole them. So you actually got to talk to people. You got to go out. I mean, one of the things I love to do is I love to go to Wawa, and I love to do a survey. I ask people, hey, if you melted your siding with your barbecue grill, would you put a claim in? Do you know I've never gotten a yes yet? Everybody says, well, no, I did it myself. 100% cover. I've written more than 50 of them over the last 12 years. Not one person has fixed the siding yet. Average claim $6,000 to $10,000.
Yeah.
How many people could use an extra $6,000 to $10,000 tax-free money to do anything you want?
I love that. Yeah.
Now, most people that have melted their siding, they put something over it so nobody can see it because they don't want to feel stupid. But the minute you tell somebody, hey, I can get you $6,000 to $10,000 tax-free money for that, they're real quick to show you where it is. I don't have any problems with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the crazy thing. Laminate floor. Anybody with laminate floor has a claim. I don't care what it is. You spilled something on it. You have a potted plant on it. You have your laminate floor, it goes up to a sliding glass door. You feel right in front of it. That's a major claim. One of my favorites is smoke. a smoke claim is nuts.
Mm.
On average, if you didn't open your flue and smoke came in, that's a $35,000 to $70,000 claim on average.
Wow.
I just had one 2 weeks ago settled for $108,000.
Wow. Nice.
These are, and you know what? Once you sit with somebody and you do the presentation, whether they have a claim now or not doesn't matter. They're waiting to call you so you can get them paid for something, and they're biting at the bit. They may call
Absolutely.
you 3 times with stuff that's not covered, but then they're going to call you with that one thing, and the next thing you know, boom, you're getting them paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, everybody I sit with, I get referrals from, because referrals are the key to everything. I mean, everybody needs to know what we do. Nobody understands their homeowner policy. And the insurance company changes it every year without telling you. Do you know the average person never even looks at their policy
Right.
when
Right.
it comes in? Oh, that's paid by my mortgage company. They throw it in a drawer. They don't have a clue that the mortgage company can change anything they want every year. It's totally crazy.
Yeah. No, we got a lot of, I mean, again, there's so many different facets and so many different ways in which we can help protect our clients. It's just ridiculous. And, Jay, again, I want to thank you for your time. I know you've been extremely generous. You got a wealth of information. I hope that whoever is looking at this, leave a comment for Jay. Let him know how great of a job he did. Because here's the bottom line, guys. When you stand in the shoulders of giants like Jay, you get to learn things. You get to glimpse into their mind and to see how is it that they're doing what they do at such a high level. And by doing that, you create shortcuts for yourself, right? And this little time, this hour that, or a little less than an hour that Jay spent with us, I'll tell you what, guys, tremendous information. I hope that everybody that gets to see this part of the Metro team gets 1 or 2 or 3 little nuggets and are able to take this out. Jay, you want to say something?
I want to close with one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
We are all here, all the leaders in the company. We are all here, and we are here to help you, no matter whose team you're on. We are here to make you successful. And you can ask anybody anything you want, and they will take the time to answer it. We are here to make the company the best company in the world.
Absolutely.
And as I tell everybody, the more we get out there, all ships rise on a rising tide. And my boat's going to be at the highest point, but that's okay. Everybody else can come and get me.
Yeah, I hear you.
You got to have fun. If you don't have fun, what's the sense? Yeah, I make an unbelievable amount of money. But if I wasn't having fun, I wouldn't do this. I'd do something else.
Yeah.
I'm helping people. I was a high-end sales guy. I made a lot of money there. But I'll tell you what, I left that. I was making a lot of money because I had a fight with the owner. I told him where he could go. That was in sales. Corporate America is not like this. Corporate America, you stab your way to the top, and I got to the top. And then it's a fight to stay there because everybody wants your job. Here, anybody can get into management because it's up to you. You are in control of your life. You decide. Nobody else. You don't have a boss telling you when you move up. You don't have a boss telling you how much money you can make. You don't have a boss saying you can't make more than me. No. The bottom line is I make a lot of money. The guy above me is a great guy. I guarantee I make a little more than him. That's okay.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Everything is up to you. You control your own entity. As I tell everybody on my call, you have one employee, and it's you. And would you want to hire yourself?
Yeah, good question.
And that's what you got to ask yourself. Because if you'd want to hire yourself, then you want to go and hire a bunch more people like you who are hiring themselves.
Yeah.
Because once you're in management, you're not responsible for anybody, but you get overrides on everybody. I like to compare this to real estate. Everybody has heard of a real estate broker and a real estate agent. An agent works for the broker. The broker has the building, a lot of responsibility. The agent sells the house. The broker gets a big piece. Over here, we're under the corporate umbrella. So every single person that you hire, they are under the corporate umbrella just like you. But once you're in management, you get overrides just like the real estate broker. You get overrides on everything they do. But you're not responsible for them. You don't have to find them work or anything else.
Right, right.
Corporate is responsible, but you benefit. So get to regional manager and be in control of your own life. There is no reason that you can't have freedom. You want to take 3 months off. How many people are at a job and they're at a job and they're working and something happens to somebody in their family and they have to go through so much rigmarole
just to see them, yeah,
to take care of them, see them, whatever. Here, all you do, no call, no show for 6 months. Guess what happens when you do that? When you come back, you go back to work. Nobody's the wiser. And more importantly, if you've already built a team, your team is still working. I've had times when I took 6 months off without doing anything. My team kept working. My income never went down. But guess what? I did drop off the leaderboard, and other people thought they were going to own that. They had a rude awakening when I came back. But the reality is, there are no negatives. There's only positives. I have not found the negative thing about this company other than anybody can do it. And the reason that's a negative is because some people are idiots and they don't do it right. And it gives some of us a bad name.
Right, right.
Other than that, this is the perfect business. Anyway, that's
thank
all
you, Jim.
I got.
Listen, again, thank you very much. And I hope that maybe we'll do a second edition of this because you got a lot of great information and I got some good questions I want to share with you. I just don't want to kill the time and have people leave without getting the information. But thank you very much for sharing your time with me. I truly appreciate it. And I hope anybody that's looking at this, if you have, I come from a martial art background, and my instructor was kind of like Master Miyagi from Karate Kid, and he used to say, you don't ask questions, you just observe. Just look and see how that punch is thrown. Look and see how that kick is thrown. You don't have to ask a question. Figure out how the punch is thrown and then duplicate that. And that's what I do. I look at a person like John and I say, what a great leader, what a great mentor. And even though he and I are not in the same team and we don't have the traditional mentorship relationship, I look at what he does and I duplicate. I follow some of the things that he does. So that's what I'm hoping that you guys take out of this master's mindset training. So John, Thank you very, very much, man. I
Jay.
appreciate it.
Jay.
Well, I hear Steve call you John J. Gillette. So, okay.
Yes. John's my real name. John is what I signed. But my
Okay.
father's name was John, so
Okay.
I am Jay.
My father's name was John too, man, and I got a son named John. So, anyway, thank you, Mr. J. I appreciate your time. I don't know what to say. I appreciate you spending your time with me, man. Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.